That's why more and more Lagosians are tuning in.
500,000 Lagosians.
720,000.
970,000.
Over 1 million Lagosians. They know that if you give me your afternoon, I will give you hard facts.
Well done, Sandra, on all you do, going beyond the headlines and focusing on the facts.
I am Sandra Ezekwesili, and these are your hard facts.
Hello, Lagos. Good afternoon. I am Sandra Ezekwesili, and these are your hard facts. First hard fact of the day: Happy Democracy Day. Today marks 30 years from the day Nigerians went out to vote for the first president of the Third Republic. The winner of that election was never officially announced and never took their seat because Ibrahim Babangida had the election annulled. Moshood Abiola claimed victory and spent the end of his life standing on that mandate, locked away by Sani Abacha and Abdusalam Abubakar. Today we remember Abiola for that stand. This is not about Abiola's politics. This is about him doing what we hope every Nigerian does when democracy is on the line. Choose hardship rather than accept injustice. Abiola stood up to Abacha at a time when Abacha controlled the might of the federal government and all the trappings and ceremony of legitimacy. He was the constituted authority, but that authority contradicted the will of the people. It would have been very, very easy for those who supported Abiola to tell him to obey the government instead, but they sided with him and they were accused of treason. They, like Abiola, decided that standing for the truth and for the will of the people was worth suffering punishment at the hands of an illegitimate, undemocratic government imposed against the vote. And today we thank them for it. History remembers them. And history also remembers those who chose convenience over truth, denial over democracy, obedience over objectivity, comfort over democracy. Many chose to go along with the powers that be. But if those who stood with Abiola had done the same, would we have a democracy today? That's the question that should burn in the mind of every Nigerian who wants a better society. Because every day, we are all faced with that same choice in smaller ways, with smaller stakes. So again, happy Democracy Day. May we all choose democracy when we are tested, just like Abiola. Second hard fact of the day: doctors in Abia State have suspended their strike after 6 months. They say they want to give the new governor, Alex Oti of the LP, a chance to clear the salary backlog once he settles down. The previous PDP administration under Okezi Ikpeazu did not pay Ministry of Health doctors for 2 months. Hospital Management Board doctors for 1 year and 4 months, and APSU teaching hospital doctors for 1 year and 11 months. But now Oti has promised to clear the backlog by December. The doctors are ready to give him that time. So they've gone back to work. We're going to be following that story to see whether Oti keeps his word. I've got a third hard fact. Oh, yes. Third hard fact of the day. One strike ends, another strike begins. Lecturers at Rufus Giwa Polytechnic in Ondo State have not been paid 13 months of salary. So they're finally going on strike. Our fourth hard fact of the day also involves organized labor. The NLC says it will stop complying with illegitimate ex parte orders. The NLC is asking the Supreme Court and the NJC to probe judges who give ex parte orders that violates the letter and the spirit of the law. Now, of course, remember that the Supreme Court recently warned courts to stop giving those types of ex parte orders. Now, NLC is talking about this in context of the order from the Industrial Court, stopping them from going on strike over the end of the subsidy. And they're saying that they're going to stop complying with illegitimate ex parte orders. Interesting times ahead, huh? 1 million Lagosians cannot be wrong. If you're here listening for the first time, you're alongside 1 million. So thank you for tuning in. I've got a great show for you, starting with a big weekend. Let's talk about TInubu's Democracy Day speech. Then let's talk about TInubu suspending Emefiele and the SSS arresting him. And then let's talk about Ganduje threatening to slap Kwankwaso. On Madam Landlord, let's talk about people abroad sending money for people to help them build houses here. There's a lot of fraud that happens with that. And yes, it keeps happening. One would expect that in the time of WhatsApp videos and FaceTime and Instagram video and Facebook video, it would be much harder to do, and yet it continues to happen. So how can someone make sure that their house is getting built? 4 p.m. Let's have that conversation. On the big hard fact, let's talk about Emefiele's suspension and his arrest and his legacy. As usual, we'll have updates at the top of every hour for you before I hand you over to the newsroom. But I am Sandra Ezekwesili, Lagos, and it's time for the big three. These are your hard facts. What did TInubu mean about court orders? Did TInubu and Jonathan have the right to suspend Emefiele and Sanusi? What is going on in Kano? It was a huge weekend, Lagos. Deciding on the stories for today was such a hard task, but we did it, and here we are. Let's start with Democracy Day. Bola Tinubu has given his first Democracy Day address from Aso Rock, so we'll talk about some of the points he made. He told Nigerians that quarrels, debates, and wrangling are part of democracy, even if they can seem unattractive. Of course, this election cycle has had a lot of quarreling and debates and rancor and wrangling. He also said that it's perfectly fine for people who do not agree with elections to contest them in court. But speaking of courts, he said something that was quite interesting. He warned that his government will frown on some court orders.
For Chief M.K.O. Abiola, the symbol of this day, in whose memory June 12 became a national holiday, democracy is eternal. It is about rule of law and vibrant judiciary that can be trusted to deliver justice and strengthen institutions. It has become imperative to state here that the unnecessary illegal orders issued to truncate or abridge democracy will no longer be tolerated. The recent harmonization of the retirement age of the judicial officers is meant to strengthen the rule of law, which is a critical pillar of democracy. The reform has just started.
Now the question is, which court orders will Tinubu's administration view as unnecessary or illegal? What does he mean when he says they will no longer be tolerated? What will that zero tolerance look like? Because remember, the judiciary is independent of the executive, so technically and legally, the president cannot move against the courts. Now, his predecessor, Muhammadu Buhari, ignored quite a few court orders. Is Tinubu planning to do the same? And let's tie it back to what the NLC said about black market ex parte orders. Are organized labor and the Tinubu administration on the same page here? Is this a reflection of what the general public's assessment of the courts is? And what can the courts do to improve that assessment? Tinubu also talked about the new law he signed, raising the retirement age for judges. You heard him in that clip that I played for you. He says that this will strengthen the rule of law. He also said that this is just a start to the reforms that he has in mind. And then he talked about subsidy. He asked Nigerians to bear with him, even though the rise in petrol prices will bring hardships.
In my inauguration address on May 29, I gave effect to the decision taken by my predecessor in office to remove the fuel subsidy, the albatross, and free up the collective use of much needed resources, which had hitherto been pocketed by a few rich. I admit the decision will impose extra burden on the masses of our people. I feel your pain. This is one decision we must bear to save our country from going under and take our resources away from the stranglehold of a few unpatriotic elements. Painfully, I have asked you, my compatriots, to sacrifice a little more for the survival of our country. For your trust and belief in us, I assure you that your sacrifice shall not be in vain. The government I lead will repay you through massive investment in transportation, infrastructure, education, regular power supply, healthcare, and other public utilities that will improve the quality of lives.
So TInubu seems to be suggesting that the money being used for subsidy before now will be redirected to these other areas. But of course, I must always point out that the federal government was paying for subsidy with debt. So technically, the government is not saving money by ending subsidy. The government is reducing the borrowing. So if TInubu is saying that he's going to match the end of subsidy with an increase in spending for power, education, health, and transport, does he mean he'll increase borrowing again to do these things? Anyway, these were the major points that TInubu struck in his Democracy Day speech. What are your thoughts? Did you listen? What did you think? 0700-993-993-993 01465-7190. That's for women. Men, call us on 0700-993-993-993. We've got WhatsApp as well. WhatsApp is 080-959-75805. Of course, you listened maybe in the morning, during the morning crossfire with Sheriff, or maybe you just listened to these inserts that I played right now. What did you think of President Bola Tinubu's Democracy Day speech? 99.3, hello.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. What's your name, sir?
This is Malik calling from Oshodi.
Malik, welcome. Talk to me.
Sandra, it's funny when they come and keep saying they will improve power, they will improve health, they will improve infrastructure. At the end of the day, we don't see any of that. You find out that they will be the first people to travel out for medicals. Sandra, like I keep asking, is he going to borrow, or he wants to use that money for subsidy to increase the state governor's allocation, and the governors will still do the same looting like they normally do before? You see, the statement he made does not hold any water to me.
Okay.
Except he starts showing it. This is what they want to do. Nigeria, so the road from here to here will take 6 months. This is the money, and this is how much we're giving to them. In case you don't see any progress, hold the company. We will know they are serious. You will give out contracts, they will put duration of days. At the end of the day, you see it will pass more than 1 year. It's not still done. Example, at Mangwa Bridge, how many years will it take to finish a bridge that is causing serious hold up? How much have they spent? Nobody knows. Sandra, you don't know that problem. Thank you.
Malik, thank you very much for calling. All right, before I take the next call, I've got information to share with you.
That's a good period to just take a little time out of hard facts to give you some hard facts of my own. The fact is, hundreds of people are winning every other week, and the magic number is 100.
Good evening.
Hello,
What's your name, sir?
Sandra. Good evening.
Good evening. What's your name, sir?
Austin calling from Lekki.
Welcome, Austin. Talk to me.
Well, to me, this is the second time Mr. President is making a public addressing Nigerian anyway. The first one was on his inaugural speech.
Mm-hmm.
This one is on his Democracy Day.
Right.
To me, his address doesn't hold any water.
Okay.
In as much as this government have not told us how much they are paying subsidy,
Okay.
who they are paying this subsidy to, they are not serious. They want to revamp education. They want to revamp our health institution. What about the initial this thing that was given to contract that was given to the past administration? Who have completed his or her project? I want to know those people. If now and then they start continue telling us cock and bull stories, that is not what we want to hear. We want a government that is more proactive. Now they have got rid of Emefiele. Is only Emefiele that is going to go into that thing? No. A lot of here is going to roll. If you want a serious government, they should name those people that they've been paying subsidy to and how much they have paid so far. Anything short of that, my darling sister, we are still playing to the gallery. Thank you and God bless you.
All right. Thanks very much for calling 99.3.
Hello, Sandra.
How you doing?
Good afternoon, Sandra.
Good afternoon. What's your name, ma'am?
This is Happiness from Ikorodu.
Talk to me, Happiness.
Yeah, Sandra, I heard the speech, I won't judge him, but all I will tell him is he should do the needful. We need a better country. This is not the time to fight anyone or point fingers. Let him do the needful, help build.
Are you there, Happiness? All right, looks like we lost the connection to Happiness. Thanks for calling, though. 99.3.
Yeah, Sandra, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir. What's your name?
Yeah, you have Manon on the line. I'm calling you from Ekpe.
Talk to me, Manon from Ekpe.
Yeah, quickly on President Tinubu's speech. The guy seems to be eating on things, that really concern Nigeria in terms of communication.
Okay.
And he is somebody who seems to, knows what Nigeria are going through.
Okay.
Although I know he's a very smart person, but I hope he's not playing on our intelligence.
Okay.
I hope things will be getting better, in terms of some promises he has made.
Okay.
Is the Emefiele story part of your story?
Yes, later on.
I think for Emefiele, some people are saying President Buhari should be arrested or whatever, but in my own view, even if it is a POS official, a bank official, Emefiele himself or President Buhari,
right.
If all of them are arrested, fine. If one of them is picked up, fine. Because a time has come, in this country that people need to account for what they've done in the past. In terms of he being a CBN governor, and then running for office, and then playing with people's intelligence, and then coming down with the Naira policy. Now, for the Naira policy, it's not as if it's a bad policy, but implementation. And then when they were implementing it, when they know that this thing is not going well with the people, they have every right to suspend it as at that time, but they never did. The court gave an order, and then everything was just meddled in what I can't even explain. But I think it should account for things he has done. Thank you and good afternoon.
All right, Emmanuel from Macbeth, thank you very much and good afternoon. I've got messages on WhatsApp, so let's take a look at some of them. Undemocratic people talking about democracy, talking about June 12th election being free and fair, when they cannot say the same for 2023 election that brought them to power. The contradiction, the annoying paradox, self-deceit, and gullible followership of the current government. Also, I do not share that cliche and sentiment of he died for democracy. If he was killed, why is it so difficult for the so-called democratic and patriotic politicians to name those who killed him? All what Abiola said during that time is still lingering, even worse today. Talk about NNPC, CBN, IMF, World Bank, other foreign and mebo busybodies who keep sticking their long nose in Nigeria's backside. But then, if Abiola had entered, who would he have asked for extension of tenure? Citing an example of the other so-called heroic African leaders who fought for something and refused to leave when they got there. All right. Very strong message there. Thank you very much for your message. Taiwo in Magodo says, Sandra, Ever since Tinubu assumed office, I can confirm to you that there is improvement in electricity in my area. From last week Sunday till yesterday, they only off my area light for 30 minutes. Anyone around Magodo Ikosi CMD can confirm this. All right, Taiwo, thank you for your message. I'll also say that, power supply in my own area around Osapa has also really been good. We've got Ade from Surulere with this particular message. I want to settle down and read this message, but I don't have the time right now because we have a break coming up. Now, when we come back from the break, I'll bring you our second story, the Emefiele saga from the weekend. Then we'll take a look at more messages from WhatsApp. I'm Sandra Ezekwesili. Don't go away.
All round.
Today in a pharmacy near you. Supermalt, your reliable multivitamin. The round table is back.
I recall that the former Minister for Interior, Abdulrahman Dambazao, said that people go in as dogs and come out as lions.
I don't think the Nigerian government actually took the time to look at it from a holistic perspective.
And it's just really painful because it seems as though that, with every new government, we tend to miss the previous government.
It's just like you put human beings to live as pigs inside a place. How do you correct such? I don't even know who gave them the idea of changing the name.
Around table this June 28th, 10 a.m. to 12 noon, 29th, 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. and 30th, 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. Be part of the table on 99.3 Lagos, 92.3 Port Harcourt, and 95.1 Abuja. Let's talk.
I would just say that we're all stakeholders in the business of building Nigeria.
Oga, wetin happen? I don send am go market. Abi dey owe you money.
Oga pharmacy, no be your boy I dey call jare. I dey ask for NS liver salt, medicine wey dey comot any yamayama discomfort for person belle, whether na heartburn, constipation or even indigestion o. NS liver salt get lemon, orange and other correct flavors. With NS liver salt, belle go dey balance. Oya Oga pharmacy, sama me one make I go enjoy.
NS liver salt, the medicine wey dey make your belle kulele. Rush enter any pharmacy go buy your own now.
Na product of Neskem Pharmaceutical Limited.
Welcome back to your number one talk, news, and sports station. This is Nigeria Info.
CBN Governor Godwin Emefiele was suspended and arrested. On Friday, we got a statement from Willie Bassi, the SGF's Director of Information. And the statement reads, quote, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has suspended the Central Bank Governor, Mr. Godwin Emefiele CFR, from office with immediate effect. This is a sequel to the ongoing investigation of his office and the planned reforms in the financial sector of the economy. Mr. Emefiele has been directed to immediately hand over the affairs of his office to the Deputy Governor Operations Directorate, who will act as the central bank governor pending the conclusion of the investigation and the reforms. End quote. This is not news anymore. You have been following this story throughout the weekend. By the way, for your information, Folashodu Adebisi Shonubi is the deputy governor who is stepping in to act. And, of course, this is the second time that a Fourth Republic president has suspended his CBN governor. In 2014, Goodluck Jonathan suspended Sanusi Lamido Sanusi, Emefiele's predecessor. And it caused a serious controversy and a lawsuit because remember that even though the president nominates the CBN governor, the CBN is independent of the presidency, like INEC. And when you read the CBN Act, it actually does not mention the idea of suspending a governor. It talks about sacking a governor from his conduct, but the president cannot do that alone. The president needs 2/3 of the Senate to agree. So when Jonathan suspended Sanusi, the pushback was that number one, there's no suspension in the CBN Act. Number two, even if we want to rely on his ability to sack, where was the 2/3 vote from the Senate? And now, Tinubu is repeating Jonathan's actions. That's also interesting because back in 2014, Tinubu's APC accused Jonathan of violating the constitution. So the obvious question is, what has changed for the APC? So Sanusi took the matter to court in 2014. The High Court said that the president should have the power to discipline a CBN governor, but the High Court did not rule on whether suspension was on the table and whether the president needed the Senate to do that. They also said that the matter should go to the National Industrial Court for clarity, but it never got there because Sanusi was made Emir of Kano and dropped the case. Meanwhile, the SSS has arrested Emefiele. At first, the SSS denied having him in custody. Their handle tweeted, quote, "Currently, Emefiele is not with the DSS." And when they tweeted that, I actually asked them on Twitter why they used the word currently. It was quite conspicuous, right? Because if you have not arrested a man at all, you say he is not in our custody. That's it. Abi? But when you say he isn't currently in our custody, it can be interpreted as he was in our custody before or he will be in our custody soon. You get? SSS Shah didn't reply me directly, but later that day, they did tweet that Emefiele was in their custody. They tweeted, quote, "The Department of State Service hereby confirms that Mr. Godwin Emefiele, the suspended governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, is now in its custody for some investigative reasons. The public, particularly the media, is enjoined to apply utmost caution in the reportage and narratives concerning this," end quote. Now, of course, Lagos, speaking as a media person, we can only report what we know. So I hope that the SSS will do its part and share information that the public needs about this arrest, because the best way to prevent speculation is to provide information, like the timeline of the arrest itself. So, for example, at the time they tweeted that he wasn't currently in their custody, were they already making moves to arrest him? We're going to talk about Emefiele's ordeal in detail at 5 p.m. So make sure you're here when we're having that conversation. 5 p.m. we'll dive into the Emefiele story on the Big Hard Fact. But for right now, do you think the SSS has handled Emefiele's arrest with proper transparency? Do you think Tinubu should have suspended him? 01465-7190, 0700-993-993-993. We've got WhatsApp as well. WhatsApp is 080-959-75805. You're listening to Hard Facts on 99.3 Nigeria Info. I'm Sandra Ezekwesili, and this is The Big Weekend. 99.3, hello. Thanks for calling us. Hello. Thank you for calling. What's your name?
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. What's your name?
This is Mr. Paul calling from Ikorodu.
Mr. Paul from Ikorodu, talk to me.
Yeah. The way they handle this Emefiele issue is unfair.
Unfair?
Yeah.
Okay.
The suspension was wrong.
Okay.
Had it been they won't have the right to arrest him, they could have arrested him when the former administration, under Buhari regime.
Okay.
Because they made an attempt to arrest him. Why didn't they arrest him then? You know,
so you
and it's not answering to anybody than to Buhari. Anything that he does it through Buhari. So they should go and arrest Buhari in anything before they put him for anything. So the suspension was wrong and the arrest was wrong.
Okay. All right. Thanks for calling. Interesting take. 99.3. Hello. Hello.
Good afternoon, Sandra.
Good afternoon. What's your name, sir?
Okay, Samuel on the line.
Talk to me, Samuel.
See, the point is that on whatever any justification or any ground anybody wants to twist this, right? Immediately has crossed the red line. That is just the fact. And he should be prepared, to take every form of responsibility.
What red line? What red line did he cross?
Yes. In the kind of what is it called? Is MPS or FR as regards the policy, the naira design, and the limit.
But monetary policy is not a criminal offense.
No. It is the same thing now that you have called for recourse this afternoon. Okay, his arrest is not something out of what is it called? Out of the law. Anybody could be could be arrested.
No.
But it's the process.
Hold on. I'm asking you what his offense was that was worthy of an arrest, and because you seemed to know, because SSS has not told us what the charges are, but you seem to know what the charges are. That's why I'm asking you what the charges are.
Number one. If you want to know, let me just tell you one of the things.
I do.
Right during the naira redesign, okay, it was alleged. And that is the reason why, when they said that suspended, so that investigation is currently going on now. Okay. That's one thing I want everybody to know. Let us know that. Now it was alleged, there was an allegation against his office under the context of naira redesign, that a total sum of almost 3.1 trillion naira, you understand now, is missing. And it's not only missing, he was adjudged to have been bumped. Do you get the point? Yes, this is allegation. It's there. Anybody that cares to know.
So this is
one of the things.
So
then number two.
So this is an allegation, right?
That is what I'm saying.
Now, SSS themselves have not told us why he's been arrested. They've not given us any charges.
But the point is that this is an insider thing.
So you're an insider at the CBN? You work at the CBN?
I don't work at the CBN. So
how is it an insider?
I'm just telling you part of it. You are the one that raised the floor on as to why Emefiele is not just that he's been, of course, if he's arrested, fine. Do you know that he was arrested because we are being told, anyway, let me use that word, that want to sneak out of the country through land borders. Do you get the point now? So, I don't want us to be sentimental about it.
If he had not been arrested, if he had not been charged with a crime, he was free to come and go as he pleased.
Yes, of course. Why is Nnamdi Kanu in the custody of that same DSS now?
So what does sneak out mean exactly?
You say what?
What does sneak out mean?
I cannot hear you very well.
Oh, that's unfortunate, Sam. Sam, thank you very much for calling, though. Now, of course, we can argue about, his suspension. We can argue about his arrest, but we don't know why he was arrested yet. All you can do right now is speculate about why he was arrested. We don't know. We have not been told what the charges are. You get what I'm saying? Because again, Naira redesign policy, that he put out a policy about Naira redesign, about implementation of the Naira redesign, and it was a disaster, that in of itself is not a crime. It is not a criminal offense to put out policy that fails. Monetary policy that fails. It's not a criminal offense. You get? All right, let's come back and take a few more thoughts. 99.3.
Hello?
How you doing?
Yeah, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. What's your name?
Yeah, I'm from Tio, from Surrey.
Talk to me.
These DSS people, I think they are the first people that should have been probed,
Okay.
They went to this Igboho guy. They killed somebody there extrajudicially. They went to Nnamdi Kano's place, his lawyer's place. They killed somebody there extrajudicially. They at a point, they went to the National Assembly. They shut up the National Assembly. Even of recent, they went to EFCC, and they were messing up the whole place. I think the National Assembly should probe them, because they have been doing a lot of things. Even this Emefiele guy's issue now. This Emefiele guy issue, they've charged him with transferring $1 million to Afghanistan. Is Emefiele a Muslim? Are they trying to pass message to Buhari, who actually said that Nigeria is going to support Afghanistan. So these DS people, they are taking too much and they should be called to order. Thank you.
All right. We've got a day in Surulere who says, I don't know what TInubu and his supporters are celebrating about June 12. I can tell anyone for free that June 12 election was the only free and fair election in Nigeria. TInubu and his camp need to prove to the world and true Nigerians that they did not come into power through the roofs. Since June 12, we've had total zero democracy in Nigeria. Let's allow the judiciary to seriously redeem themselves from all the anti-democratic actions by TInubu and other main actors, actresses who have participated, encouraged, connived, conspired, supported, benefited, aided and abetted from their zero democratic actions since June 12. We should be mourning the sad demonstration of grace. TInubu and his camp are chasing shadows as they are all part of the current problems of the country. Ade from Surulere also says, Emefiele was just a messenger. He didn't just wake up to take such actions without orders from certain people. Who are those people? Why haven't those people been arrested and detained as well? It could also be said that it could be a case of personal vendetta coming from the president and his camp. Very, very fishy indeed. If this fellow should really talk, so many top mystery people may go down with him, which may include or implicate the president and top members of his team. DSS may have to release him in order not to squeal on them. Another case of serious abuse of office by DSS. Nigeria is a very serious crime scene with zero accountability. Okay. We've got this message here. From a Jima Chibuzom in a cotton. Jima says, arrest of Emefiele looks like payback, meaning that they are suspecting that the new money policy was against them to avoid vote buying. Secondly, the money policy was approved by the presidency. People in power should know that there is another power that is more than theirs. Okay. Well, thank you very much for your message. We've got this one here from Tony Tonero. Tony says, the Democratic Day speech by the president is nothing to write home about. Same political promises that will never come to light. Let them start working. No time to check time. All right. We've got Ade Bowale from Shangota, who says, according to the SSS, there's been an allegation against Emefiele since last year because of terrorist funding claims or so. It was said on your station last year that the SSS wanted to arrest him but were denied by the presidency. So being arrested now is no problem to me, but he should not have been suspended because it's unlawful according to the CBN Act. Adebowale, thank you for your message. We've got this one here. Emefiele is a card-carrying member of APC and he's a member of the ruling party. So let's leave TInubu alone to deal with Emefiele as a party man. It's a party affair. Sandra, do your neighbors intrude into your house when you're scolding your children? I beg, make we rest. Femi from Ikorodu with that message there. Peter Oyewole from Ota in Ogun State says, to TInubu, the poor compatriots should bear the pains of subsidy removal while the ruling class enjoys the luxuries. Yet the poor will celebrate him. What Fela called zombies. Your government will frown against court orders, but your government can secure black market order against labor. Double standards. All right, Peter Oyewole from Ogun State. Thanks for that message. Let's come back to you, Lagos 99.3. Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Thanks for calling.
Hello?
What's your name, sir?
Hello, Sandra.
I can hear you, sir. What's your name?
God bless you.
Bless you as well. What's your name, sir?
Sunday. Mr. Sunday.
Mr. Sunday, welcome. Talk to me.
God bless you. I want to speak about Emefiele.
Okay.
Emefiele is just like a man. When you have to send message, it is a person that is supposed to hold is president. If they arrested Emefiele, the who arrested his master is the one that improved everything before Emefiele can take over. And you understand?
Okay.
So, I did not borrow of the Emefiele, I did not support it. They should also arrest the president of the country. That's Mohammed Buhari. He should be arrested also.
Okay. All right, thanks for calling. Abdullahi Ganduje has threatened to slap Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso, but Kwankwaso says, you know fit. The two ex-Kano governors are beefing. over steps that the current governor is taking. Abba Yusuf has been demolishing many buildings in the Kano metropolis. Ganduje says Kwankwaso is behind the demolitions as part of a fight against him because, according to Ganduje, it was his government that ordered the construction in some cases or sold the land in others. And that's why he wants to sound Kwankwaso. Ganduje said, quote, I know he is in the building, but we have not met. Probably if we met, maybe I could have slapped him, end quote. Kwankwaso says, Ganduje no fit try. He said, quote, I heard that he said he would have slapped me, but I'm here. He was just confused. They are all my boys, politically. They can't even look at me straight in the face if we meet. Ganduje also said he's reported Kwankwaso to Bola Tinubu. Remember, Kwankwaso has been meeting with Tinubu and has also said that Tinubu has offered him an appointment. So maybe Ganduje is trying to use that as leverage on Kwankwaso to get him to stop Abba Yusuf, who is his son-in-law and political disciple. But Kwankwaso says that he has explained the situation to Tinubu and Tinubu is on his side. Kwankwaso said, quote, Tinubu initiated the conversation, after which I provided a comprehensive explanation to which Tinubu expressed surprise upon discovering that the information relayed to him was false. During our discussion, he seemed astonished and was speechless at the information conveyed to him. We unequivocally prohibit any governor, irrespective of who they are, including Ganduje or Abba, from constructing on sites designated for mosques, schools, or other similar purposes. We will inform them that it is unacceptable, end quote. There's actually a lot going on in Kano with these demolitions and other policy reversals. And we're going to go deep into all of it on Thursday. Thursday at 5 o'clock, I'll bring my head of news back into the studio so that we can talk about what's going on in Kano. But right now, let's talk about Ganduje threatening to woes Kwankwaso and reporting him to Tinubu. And Kwankwaso telling him, you cannot do more than a hanging pint. 0700-993-993-993. That's for men. Women, call me on 01465-7190. And yes, talk to me about President Tinubu's speech or the arrest and suspension and arrest of Emefiele. 99.3. Sorry about that. Call me back if you can. Hi, good afternoon.
Yes, Sandra, please speak one, please. This is Malik from Texas.
Welcome.
Sandra, Emefiele case, have you forgot that the House of Rep member was on national TV saying all kinds of allegations against Emefiele that he was interrogated by the DSS, which he said, and I quote, that he's not the only one, that people must follow him, whatever is going to happen to him. Look, Emefiele was long overdue 2016 to leave that office. Since 2016, look, Emefiele is part of the economic problem that was in Nigeria. Because none of the policy worked. As for Ganduje and Kwankwaso, this afternoon, I heard what Kwankwaso was saying, how he took Ganduje up and down to make him who he is. But it's a pity how fly won't become butterfly. I don't even understand me.
Okay.
How a fly wants to become butterfly. So I'm shocked.
Who be the fly, who be the butterfly? Because two of them are former governors, so two of them are equal now.
Former governors, but Kwankwaso portfolio is higher than Ganduje portfolio.
Okay.
You understand me? Kwankwaso has more portfolio, big appointment than Ganduje.
Okay.
So Kwankwaso is a butterfly. Ganduje can be fly.
Okay. Oh, sorry about that. I thought you were done, Malik. 99.3.
Good afternoon, Sandra.
Good afternoon. What's your name, ma'am?
This is Rita from Lakwe.
Welcome,
Sandra. Now, what story? I don't feel laugh. Slap me. You cannot. Politics has not turned to, I will slap you if I see you. Hey, God. Sandra, Nigerian politicians fear God. If they don't slap themselves, what are they telling others in the society? That you can slap each other.
Good question.
Then for the president's speech this morning, I heard everything he said. You know, that disobeying court orders, that is not everything. There are some that are going to listen to it. Sandra, it has already been happening. This is what the APCs are going to do at the end of the day. So judiciary, I don't know where the judiciary powers are. That, I don't know, the president can overcome everything and tell them, I've said it, I have said it. So what's the need of the judiciary at the end of the day? What's democracy then? If the president will say the final time, it will stand. What are they doing there? So in fact, let's just move them out and know that we don't have them again as judiciary, because I don't understand. So what are those things? Fine. Look at Emefiele right now, Sandra. You have done it, which is not supposed to be so. Fine. Giving me myself, I want Emefiele to be arrested, but is that the right way? No. So which other ones for 4 years? We are going to have this president for 4 years or 8 years. We don't know others that will come on air and will argue about it. We'll say about it that the president disobeyed the court order. What are we saying here, for God's sake? Let's just rule ourselves in peace now. In fact, Sandra, I don't have light.
Sorry.
No, it's true. I'm suffering up till now because of light. Thank you, Sandra.
Thank you, Rita, for calling 99.3. Sorry about that. Call back if you can. Let me take a look at messages on WhatsApp now. Jerry from Ibeju says, TInubu extends retirement age for judges. Why now? I smell a rat. Okay. We've got Bayo from Ejigbo. Is it Bayo from Ikeja or Samuel from Ejigbo? Anyways. Whoever this is says Emefiele deserved what he's facing now through his self-serving Naira redesign policy early this year that subjected innocent Nigerians, especially the aged ones, including my 80-year-old mother, to hardship. What DSS has done is in order, in as much as his Naira redesign policy isn't out of law. Okay. Now, of course, arguing about whether Emefiele should have been fired because his monetary policy perhaps could be defined as disastrous by a number of people across Nigeria. That's a different argument. You know, the argument for should he have been fired, very different from this suspension that has happened now, which is illegal. You know, so while the president has the right to punish, we do not have jurisprudence that shows us whether that punishment should be a suspension. It's not covered by the CBN Act, and the courts did not rule on that matter. Now, of course, the president could have waited and fired him outright. He probably would have gotten buy-in from the Senate. Process is important. Due process is important. Now, on the matter of his arrest, that's a different matter entirely. Last year, DSS declared him wanted. They accused him of financing terrorism, etc., etc. Is that why he has been arrested now? DSS hasn't said. And so we can't comment on that just yet. We've got messages here. Let's take a look at a few other ones. Sandra, on the president's broadcast, where he said, those who cannot endure and accept the pain of defeat in elections do not deserve the joy of victory when it is their turn to triumph. I will infer that if Abiola had accepted the pain of his defeat on June 12th, he would have deserved the joy of victory, maybe on a later date. Ooh, okay, all right. Thank you very much for your message. You didn't leave your name, but that's an interesting opinion. All right, we've got a break coming up. Let's take it. When we come back, I'll see how much time we have, and then we'll take a few calls. But don't forget that between 5 and 6, I have a heartbreaking story of a woman who was sending money back for her mother and brother to help her build a house in Nigeria, and they did not build that house. That story is coming up on Madam Landlord today between 4 p.m. and 5 p.m. I'm Sandra Ezekwesili. Don't go away.
More news and information coming up. We'll be back in a moment.
Take charge of what you hear and when to listen.
All at your convenience. It's there on our mobile app and website.
Download the mobile app on iOS and Play Store or visit www.nigeriainfo.fm.
99.3. Let's talk.
Sincerely, I don't want to wait till I graduate from this school before I think of what to do with my life.
Exactly. I am going to seriously work on my music skills. Let me use my talent well, I beg.
I would like to be a radio presenter, but I don't know how to go about it.
But why is Simi so quiet today?
Sorry, ladies. I'm taking this interesting course on how to become a professional scriptwriter. You too can also learn how to become a radio presenter on Wazobia Academy.
Wazobia Academy?
Yes, Wazobia Academy provides accessible and affordable online training in filmmaking, music business, fashion, radio hosting, and lots more. You also stand a chance to be selected for internship in leading production companies, radio stations, music, and fashion studios for hands-on experience. It's easy. Simply log on to www.wazobia.com wazobiaacademy.com or call 0908-826-5038 for more details.
Wazobia Academy. Learn and lead.
NS to
Oga, wetin happen? I don send a go market. Abi dey owe you money.
Oga Pharmacy, no be your boy I dey call jare. I dey ask for NS liver salt, medicine wey dey comot any yamayama discomfort for person belle, whether na heartburn, constipation or even indigestion o. NS liver salt get lemon, orange and other correct flavors. With NS liver salt, belle go dey balance. Oya Oga Pharmacy, sama me one make I go enjoy.
NS liver salt, the medicine where they make your belle kulele. Rush and Tiny Pharmacy, go buy your own now.
Now, product of Neskem Pharmaceutical Limited.
You are listening to your number one station for talk.
Your number one station for talk.
99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's talk.
We've got Chris from Accra who says 2012, TInubu and APC criticized removal of fuel subsidy despite Jonathan saying it will plug the money into health, transport and education. 2014, TInubu, I listened to him on TVC, condemned the suspension of SLS by GEJ. Fast forward to 2023, TInubu's presidency. Week 1 removed subsidy and said savings will be put in health, electricity, welfare and transport. Week 2 suspends Emefiele. Those things we kick against. You're now getting and do the same. Politics is all about their interest, not the citizens' interest when they speak. All right, Chris from Accra with that message there. Also on WhatsApp, we've got Ralph who says, President Sandra, Nigerians forget easily. It's not about reading out a written speech, but about adding emotions on them. They keep on telling Nigerians what they would love to hear. Meanwhile, nobody should call and talking about government in power. Criticism is part of governance. Emefiele is working based on instructions from Mr. President Buhari. Buhari did more harm to this country and left like that without any questions. And you expect the country to move forward? No way. All right, Ralph. Thanks for your message. We've got more messages here on WhatsApp, but I think I'm going to take one call just to wrap things up, right? Let me take one final call, and then we'll bring you business news. 99.3, hello.
Hello.
How you doing, sir? What's your name?
My sister Sandra, this is Obi calling from Ikeja.
Welcome, Obi. Talk to me.
How are you today, Sandra?
I'm very well.
For Emefiele, I don't have more to say. I thank God for P2B, who controls his emotions. During the election, the president now said that the fuel scarcity and the Naira design was against him. So anything that happens to Emefiele, people will think that it's vendetta. P2B says, my sister, they leave them, they are my senior brothers, they are my friends. That one will go. But you see the way they talk, their own, you make you to know that there's problem. What I asked Emefiele to the issue, who Buhari in his trousers, it is drowning, let him drown with Buhari. That's all. Thank you very much.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much. Hold his trousers. If he's drowning, let them drown together. Okay, fine. I've got 1 minute. 1 minute for this person.
Hello, Sandra. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. What's your name, sir? Hello?
Hello, good evening.
Good evening. What's your name, sir? Hello?
I will be anonymous, President Sandra.
Okay, Anonymous.
You know what happened? They should release a message. They should not disturb a message, right? Because somebody that sent a message.
Okay.
If they want to arrest a message, all of them, past governor, all of them should go arrest themselves.
Okay.
Even the Mr. President recently should arrest himself for Lagos governor before.
Okay.
They should leave a message. Somebody that sent a message. Okay. I wish a message should have resigned before they swear this man in.
Okay.
Yes, ma.
All right.
You understand what I'm saying now? Yes, they should release Emefiele. They should not hold Emefiele for anything. But I let everybody suffer it. Subsidy removal have come and everybody is still suffering it. Who are we going to arrest for this one? Are they going to protest now? Because they protest during good luck Jonathan. Because Emefiele is not a Yoruba or Hausa man. They should not try. They should release the man.
Okay, let's not color this with tribal glasses or tribal colors, right? Let's not get into that lane. Let's bring you business news, though. I'm Sandra Ezekwesili. You're listening to Hard Facts on 99.3 Nigeria Info. After the break, people who want to build while living abroad, how una they make sure say they know scam una.
It's 4 o'clock.